Ana Kasparian is literally turning on the left.
When the news wasn't really telling the truth about how much of a disaster that war was, how much of a disaster our war crimes were. We were committing war crimes. The Bush administration was. And it just felt so refreshing to see someone give the audience the facts about what was happening on the ground, but also just tell the truth about how much this is going to lead to backlash toward the United States, how counterproductive this is. And I just really appreciated that. So once I saw how he conducted himself and how he was telling the audience what the reality was, I didn't want to leave. And eventually things kind of came to a head because the company was in dire straits, financially speaking. We were carried on something called Air America Radio. That's where the majority of the revenue was coming from at that time. And so Air America had gone bankrupt. At this time, I'm working both jobs. I'm still at CBS because that's the stable job. I love TYT, but it's not so stable, and it might go under any minute because of Air America going bankrupt. And Jen calls me into his office. I'll never forget this day. I remember it so vividly. He just tells me, listen, I need you to quit CBS. And I was like, oh, okay, but looks like TYT's in trouble. You guys might go under. I'm like, what happens if I quit my stable job, work at TYT, and you guys go bankrupt? And he's like, well, that's life in the big city. And apparently that one line was persuasive enough for me to quit my job at CBS.
Sold.
Yeah. And it was the best decision I made. I mean, it was a risk at the time, I guess, if you want to think of it that way. But I realized that I was so unhappy with what my future would have been if I stayed at CBS that I just decided to take that risk and figure it out from there.
And look what you guys have done now. The two of you guys. It's amazing. Great story. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it's the best transition into the story that came out yesterday. Americans' trust in media plummets to a historic low. Okay, so this is an Axios story. Americans' trust in media has fallen to a historic low. According to new polling from Gallup, trust in media has previously dropped to 32% in 2016 before rebounding slightly. Those gains have essentially been wiped out according to the poll. Only 32% of the population reports having a great deal or a fair amount of confidence that the media reports the news in full, fair, and accurate way. The only other time in recent history that trust had fallen to 32% was in 2016. In some cases, the sentiment is worse. Today, record high number of Americans, they don't trust the media at all.
This is what Donald Trump has done. This is what Donald Trump has done. Ruined the media. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this is crazy to see. In 2016, fake news, and since then, it's just gone down. The rise of alt media, like Bring the Asteroid, YouTube, Daily Wire, Blaze TV, all of that has gone up, right? But then you're even starting to see that go down as well. People are not interested in Fox News, even though that's right-wing media, because they're firing Tucker Carlson. People aren't interested in Daily Wire because they're firing Candace Owens. People are interested in Blaze TV because they're firing Elijah Schaffer. Because Glenn Beck is begging for dual citizenship to Netanyahu. People are leaving the media, even alternative medias. They're not trusting it. It's crazy. This is all because of MAGA, really. You guys get to take the credit for this.
That number has steadily increased since 2018. Much of the sentiment dip is driven by Democrats and independents whose collective trust in media has plummeted 18 and 13 percentage points, respectively, from their 2018 peaks. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that the polarization that we're experiencing with the American electorate is reflected in how the media conducts itself. I think depending on what you're watching, you will get only half of the story. So I think that's definitely true of some of the more new media outlets, independent outlets. They cater to a very specific portion of the audience, very specific portion of the electorate. And I think Americans are increasingly realizing, okay, I might be in an ideological bubble depending on what kind of news I'm consuming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. You guys saw what happened at The View. If you guys didn't see that video, you have to go check it out. After the presidential debate, the girls on The View they all had this shocking revelation that Joe Biden was unfit for office. I mean, how many times are they going to prove us right? How many times are they going to prove us right because they neglect the truth, they deny the truth, and then eventually all of America wakes up, even on the left, even Democrats, and they're like, oh shit, this is really happening. Holy crap, this is what's really going on. I thought Tucker Carlson was a conspiracy theorist when he said Joe Biden had dementia, and he was actually right. The media is literally doing the Republicans' work better than the Republicans at this point. By lying and disenfranchising their audience, it's moving people away from trusting the media. Point blank, this is what's happening. Ana Kasparian's dead on.
So you have that. Then on a more corporate level, if you want to put it that way, corporate media, legacy media, I mean, they've gotten so many things wrong over the years. And I think that all of those mistakes add up in people's minds and it leads to distrust. So look, I'll give you an example that I think you guys are probably definitely going to agree with, but then I'll also talk about it in the context of some of the stories that I got wrong because I relied on legacy media. So in the lead up to the Mueller report, if you were consuming the New York Times, NBC, if legacy media was what you relied on for your information, you were under the impression that without question, the Mueller report will prove that Donald Trump had colluded. There was a big conspiracy between Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Russia. The report did not bear that out. And it was just, I just felt like I was misled by a lot of that reporting. I felt like a sucker for buying that reporting. So that already was like a major hit when it came to my trust in corporate media or legacy media.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. I can't believe that that was one of the things for her that turned her on. Wow. See, like, I was at a point in time where I already knew I couldn't trust it. I already knew that whatever it was all going to be phony. And if truth had prevailed, that this was going to be false and be bullshit. So I didn't even care. I didn't even care to look into it. I didn't even care because I knew, like, I'm not going to get involved in this lie and this scheme and invest my time and energy and read about this. I don't care. I know this is bullcrap. But other people were banking on this and they were praying like, oh, this is what we need to show, to own the Republicans, to own those maggots, to show them that Donald Trump is not who they believe he is. We're going to destroy him. And then they realized, hold on a second. We just spent millions of taxpayer dollars investigating this. And it was all bullshit. Wow.
Then I saw the way they treated Cenk Uygur when he ran for Congress. The lies they told about him were outrageous. And I was like, oh my God. I don't know what to believe from them if they are willing to literally take an interview he did with David Duke. That was a super heated interview. Cenk was not friendly to him. I mean, they took a sarcastic comment that Cenk made in the context of that interview, and they reported it as if he was like he wasn't sarcastic, like he meant what he said. And you go back and you watch that interview, you watch that statement, and you're like, no, it's very obvious he's being sarcastic here. So you start losing trust as these, I don't even want to say mistakes. I feel like in some cases, some reporters have an agenda and their agenda becomes clear in their misreporting.
Intentional.
Yeah, they're intentionally lying. The media is intentionally lying. That's from a host at the Young Turks. Guys, hey, pendulum swinging, man. I was very skeptical, I'm sure like a lot of you, on Donald Trump winning, just because of what happened in 2020. Can't say a whole bunch on YouTube. Like, why would they let this guy back in? Why would people vote him back in? I think that the people showing up is going to be so tremendous that it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, honestly. However they try and swing it or whatever tries to go down, whatever might be a little weird, a little fishy, doesn't matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Again, yeah, I'll see you in the next video. You know, the next video? Yeah. Oh, okay.